Hey everybody, it is meal planning time once again. I hope that you watched yesterday's grocery haul video so you have an idea of what exactly we're working with this week. There's a couple things I'm going to go over with that because there were some plans that we had that just didn't happen, and I'm going to explain how we work with that. Also, guys, it's election day, so if you haven't already, if you're watching this the day I upload it, I hope that if you haven't already voted, get out and do it. Providing you're a registered voter, which I hope you would have done that, and that's also providing you're in the United States, because there's a lot of viewers that are not, and that's great too. Either way, get out and vote. Okay, now that I've done my little PSA there, let's go ahead and go over this week's meal plan. So last week, okay, for those that are new, because guys, again, I love the traffic on my channel. I love what everything is growing, and I hope that you guys love the content that you're seeing and everything that I do to share how we make things function in our large family. Okay, so last week we had the mac and cheese with hot dogs, the griddle cakes. The cheeseburger bake did not happen. We had egg sandwiches, the bacon, beans, and mashed potatoes, the super chili, which we ended up having that steak and potato soup. And then we ended up having pizza twice. And the Instant Pot honey, not bourbon chicken did not happen either. But as you can tell, there were technically 7 other things that did. There were plenty of leftovers. That is just how all of that worked out. The cheeseburger bake, we just kind of ran out of time with things. It's the way the week worked out. Now this week, it's kind of funny, guys, because the weather has really picked up again. You know, we went from having over a foot of snow like 2 weeks ago to it's in the 70s. I'm wearing capris today. But what's extra funny is it's in the 70s. I'm going, oh, I don't know if I want to turn on the oven. I don't want to heat up the house. It's not that the house will get too hot, but at the same time, it kind of could. I don't know. It's funny how our mindset changes as the seasons shift and stuff. Because before, if it was in the upper 80s or warmer, that was my cutoff. Now I'm like, oh, it's going to be 75 today. It's too warm to turn on the oven. I'll probably turn on the oven. It'll be fine. I'll open some windows, get a nice cross breeze. It'll be good. Okay, so moving on to this week. Now, I did not write my meal plan according to my own rules, and it kind of bit me. So I, last week had kind of, somebody caught on one of my videos, and I loved the comment pointing it out. And I always wonder if you guys, how much you guys can see. So I had planned on having the spicy Dr. Pepper pulled pork from Pioneer Woman, the curry chicken salad from the Magnolia recipe book, and then grilled cheese was also on our grocery plan. Now, here's the problem, or on our meal plan. Problem was the groceries. Typically, if I am putting something on here that we don't have all of the ingredients for yet, or we have to get, I'm going to write it over on the far right side. The left side is where I write things that we have the stuff for. This is my plan. These are things we can have. The right side is my hopeful side. Things that, like pizzas. Like, hey, we don't just keep them on hand. So if we're going to go get pizzas, I'm going to write it there because we haven't gotten them yet. I did not write these things on the correct side. And it bit me because Sam's Club was completely out of pork shoulder and pork butt, which technically is the same thing, but they were completely out. Excuse me there. But my husband wanted to swap for a pork loin, and I had to explain it wasn't quite the same cut and way more expensive. So there was that. The curry chicken salad, we have everything for it except the water chestnuts. It's actually a really big part of the recipe. So we can't make that. The grilled cheese. I forgot to put cheese slices on the grocery list. So we don't have any sliced cheese. Now we do have the 3 blocks of cheese, but those get used in other recipes. So again, I don't even have the stuff to make the grilled cheese. I have plenty of bread. So all of these things, this is what the wavy lines are. This means, yep, didn't get the stuff, gonna have to try again a different week. Which a couple of, all 3 of them, I had kids looking forward to them. So I am going to have to do those in upcoming weeks. We have, again, I think I mentioned last week that I am just going to start writing soup/chili because it's that time of year. And if I write down a very specific item, I'm less likely to actually make it. Because I get in my own head and say, well, this was the plan, and I'm really not going to be able to make this now, so therefore I'm just not going to make super chili. And I had to switch that because it's that time of year, and we've got some stock and stuff that has to be used here in the next month. So I have to be making plenty of soups and chilies with the cooler weather, and to use up stuff before it goes bad. So I do, however, so what I did is I wrote the super chili, and then I put a little dash and I wrote the Chipotle chicken chili from Pioneer Woman. Because I found that recipe, it looked really good. We should have all of the ingredients. So I would like to try and make that. However, I will make a different super chili if it comes down to it. Now on here, we also have the taco lentils and rice. That was already on here and planned for. We have nachos on here. I moved that Instant Pot honeybee chicken. Again, guys, last week I explained the recipe calls it a honey bourbon chicken, but there is absolutely no bourbon or anything that resembles it in the recipe. So I'm just calling it honeybee chicken. And down here, there's these little dashes. So now I'm going to explain to you how this might throw more stuff off. Sean went ahead and picked up the stuff for Al Pastor because he couldn't get the pork for the pulled pork. We also had some cheddar brats in the fridge, and that we decided is something that we would go ahead and use for a meal this week. Now, this Al Pastor, when I make that, in my recipe playlist, there is the recipe for how I make the Al Pastor. It's not traditional. I'm just going to say that up front. It is not pan fried or pan cooked with peppers and pineapple and that stuff. Al Pastor is very good that way. However, for our family and the taste buds and everything else, I do a different version in the Instant Pot that involves rice and some extra tomato sauce. The flavor from the Al Pastor comes through, and it is plenty for everybody without getting too spicy, and it stretches it a lot farther than just cooking that container in a skillet would. So, but with that, the Al Pastor typically makes a decent amount of leftovers. Well, I also had the taco style lentils and rice on here, which makes a ton of leftovers. I don't like to make 2 taco dishes that leave that many leftovers in 1 week. Because the Al Pastor meat was bought, that will end up trumping the taco style lentils and rice. We'll see towards the end of the week if I go ahead and make that. So I'm not discounting it yet. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. But we'll see towards the end of the week where everybody's at meal-wise, and if I'm kind of out of other ideas. And then we might go ahead and make it, and then those leftovers will actually carry over into next week for lunches and things like that. So that is how, guys, flexibility is truly key when it comes to doing this stuff. I have to have a plan. This is what helps keep us on our budget of trying to stay under that $300 mark every week to feed all 10 of us. Guys, that's 5 teenagers in there too. And, they can eat. Let me tell you that. But I got to say, so can the 8-year-old. And his height and his growth is showing where it's all going. But I have to have a plan of some sort. But that plan, in order to truly be functional for our type of household, it has to be flexible. So I have to be able to alter and shift and be like, okay, new game plan. So when that pulled pork, which I had planned on the leftovers from that, didn't work, and my husband suggested the Al Pastor, guess what? There's our new leftovers. So that's going to work and work for lunches and things for at least another day or two. Kids enjoy that kind of stuff. Last week, I'm realizing never got put on here. Oh, I'm going to have to write it on here. So for Halloween, in the grocery haul, I mentioned the block of Velveeta that I don't typically get, and I didn't write it on here. What it is it's a cheesy taco dip that it's a recipe I learned years ago. And by that, I'm talking like probably pushing 18 years ago. Back when we used to eat more things like that. And that is something that we made. We didn't make it Halloween Day because I had kids going in too many different directions and it wasn't going to be done in time. They all wanted it and they were getting upset. So I said, you know what, we'll make it on Sunday because I had already bought the stuff. It was going to happen. So that's what we had for dinner on Sunday was the cheesy taco dip. And so that actually should be on this week's meal plan because it goes with this week's grocery haul. Guys, sometimes I question myself. I haven't had my coffee yet today, and I'm going to just go ahead and use that excuse. So, anyhow, so that should be on here. That is something else. That gave us some leftovers as well. bigger hit with the little kids than I had anticipated. It had a little bit of kick to it and some spice. And I really expected, especially the two littlest ones, to be like, ooh, nope, too hot. That is not what happened. In fact, they wanted more. And then they wanted the leftovers the next day. So it was a hit. Hit or not, guys, I'm not going to be making it on a regular basis. I cannot stand using fake foods like Velveeta. And it's not nutritionally sound. And that is what we try to focus on. It's where we try to help our kids where we can by feeding their bodies properly so that they can work at peak performance. And when we are working as a foster family, and our last placement was it was a therapeutic placement. Nutrition really can be key for a lot of things because that is the foundation, and then you can build from there. Now, I'm not saying that that the nutritional foundation is going to help kids with severe trauma histories, because don't get me wrong, that is not going to change that. But if you can help regulate their physical body, then you have a better start for helping them to regulate everything within their body. Their emotions, their behaviors, and all of that. If you are pumping them full of crap, well, you can't expect for their behaviors to just suddenly be wonderful. So anybody who has an idea about nutrition or any of that is going to understand that there really is a connection between the two. It's something that I don't think some people realize the full extent of it. And we've gotten that comment from some teachers and other professionals who have seen kids before they were with us and after they were with us, who have said, okay, 2 weeks. I don't know what you're doing, but this is a whole new kid in just 2 weeks. We don't do anything exceptional. I feed them well. I give them room to run, space to explore, and boundaries. And, and then obviously some little extra work on the side. But that's the basics of what we do. And that is not meal planning related. That would be for a whole other video. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap up. I hope that by watching my meal plans, you guys get some ideas, see how we're putting everything into play, see how it is that we feed this giant crew of ours and make everything function, stay in budget, don't break the bank doing all of it, and just live. So I hope that you are having a blessed day. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell. Leave any questions or comments down in that comment section down below. I check them when I can. And guys, my channel is getting busy enough that I am not getting a chance to reply to absolutely everything. I'm doing my best. But I'm gonna have to start coming down to that timeline thing where if certain amounts of time after each video or something. I don't know. I'm working on that. I don't like to not respond to comments. But it's getting harder and harder. So there it is. In the meantime, I will see you guys in the next one.